I think, for delegates coming up, especially the unbound delegates, is the electability question. And right now, we're in a fight, and this fight is, causes the negative score for all the candidates. But there's no question in my mind. There's not one state you can look at that Romney won or lost in 2012 that Cruz can win. Not one. But Trump changes the whole map.
All right, somebody who probably disagrees with that is Avik Roy, Senior Fellow for the Manhattan Institute and Opinion Editor for Forbes.com. Hello, sir.
Hey, how are you?
Good to talk to you. Appreciate you doing this. Okay, so you probably disagree with that. I reference your piece that was headlined Ted Cruz's Wisconsin win, maybe the beginning of the end for Donald Trump. So where is his new delegate counter wrong?
Well, I think that Paul, who I respect as a professional in this business, it's good. It's a good, it's a little late for Donald Trump to hire someone like Paul Manafort, but it's good for him that he did in a sense. But I don't disagree that Trump scrambles the map. I think he does scramble the map to some degree. But if you look at all the polls that have been done in those industrial swing states where Trump has appeal, the New Yorks, the Pennsylvanias, the Ohios, the Michigans, Trump is not polling well there. He's actually way underwater in those states. Whereas Ted Cruz,
you mean I don't want to interrupt, but you mean against Hillary, for instance?
Against Hillary,
yeah,
yes,
okay.
That's what I mean. Because that's his argument, right? His argument is electability,
right.
That in a general election against Hillary, he'll be able to turn some of those blue states red because he has this crossover appeal with swing state blue-collar whites. Now, but the polls haven't shown that. In all the polls where he's had to get against Hillary in those swing states, he's not doing well. Whereas Ted Cruz, yes, he's more of a traditional conservative candidate, but he's tactically and strategically much more sophisticated than Donald Trump is. And just take this as an example. Ted Cruz has been planning for over a year for this kind of a delegate battle. Donald Trump has only figured it out just now, after most of the delegates have already been awarded.
Oh, no, that was going to be my next line of questioning with you, because you're absolutely right. Although I don't see that as a logical extension to your argument, because one is electability in a general election, which would presume that Trump gets there, and then delegates, don't really mean all that much. It mean nothing at that point. But so let's talk about the electability question first. And I think that I just think Trump will attack Hillary in ways that no other candidate will. I think women in this country, especially young women, who Hillary is counting on to a great extent, don't have a clue about Bill Clinton's dalliances and the women who say Hillary threatened them and ruined their lives, etc. She's running as a champion of women, and I don't think any other candidate will attack that at all.
Well, I think we can both agree that Donald Trump is more likely to attack Hillary Clinton personally and Bill Clinton personally than probably anyone else, because insults are his trademark.
Well, not insults, education, yeah.
Well, but I mean, and not saying that they aren't legitimate issues, right? If Hillary is going to say there's a war on women, I think Donald Trump is well within his rights to say, hey, what about Bill Clinton? Now, having said all that, where Ted Cruz has excelled, not just in this primary, but I think he would in a general election, is making the policy arguments. Ted Cruz is not a guy who's going to be intimidated by Hillary Clinton talking about a war on women. He'll talk about how women have been harmed by this economy. He'll talk about how women are not doing well under Barack Obama and have been, he'll also make the arguments in terms of the culture stuff, in terms of feminism, where Bill Clinton, he was someone who put a lot of those feminists, the National Organization for Women, on the defensive because he was doing a lot of things that contradicted all their rhetoric about sexual harassment, etc. So I think that, yes, Donald Trump will take the battle to Hillary on those issues. Where Donald Trump will not take the battle to Hillary is on economics. And that's where I think Ted Cruz is going to have a much stronger argument.
All right, now let's quickly, in the minute and a half we have left, let's talk about the delegates. I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. Donald Trump didn't think ahead. Donald Trump, wings it a lot, and it's been successful for him to a great extent. It's going to be successful in Pennsylvania, New York, and other states. But when it comes to the delegates, no vote in Colorado, he loses every delegate. He wins a district in Virginia, he doesn't get a delegate. And the same over on the Democrat side. And people, average people, are seeing this, and they're really getting turned off to, wow, this is how it works?
Well, yes and no. I mean, first of all, let's just say that Pennsylvania, watch out, because only about 17 of the delegates that are in Pennsylvania are actually awarded by votes. Most of them are unbound, and therefore, they have the freedom to vote for whom they want on that first ballot. But, I would make the broader point, which is that, let's call it 35% of the people who've been voting in these primaries, roughly speaking, give or take, are voting for Donald Trump. Sometimes it's higher. But that's not a majority. A majority of Republicans, especially when you take into account that Democrats and independents are voting in these primaries, a majority of Republicans, a clear majority, want a conservative, someone who actually believes in the conservative policy agenda, to be representing them in that nomination.
Well,
and Donald Trump is not a conservative for all the things he brings to the table.
Avik Roy, appreciate it, sir. Please come back. Thank you very much. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, Gimme 5, and you're not going to want to miss Ray Lewis taking on Black Lives Matter. Don't go away.